Yo, YouTube, what's up? My name is Dustin, and I'm coming back at you from beyond the arc with all the info on and off the courts. Or just off the court, because it's the off season right now, and we really don't got no hoops to talk about. But that's okay. Because we got the draft! We got Victor Wembanyama on the Spurs! That's it, that's the whole video. All right, no, I'm just playing. I'm back. But for real, I got a lot to take away from the draft. I've got a few, I don't know about hot takes, but maybe things that I thought about that I didn't hear a lot of other people talk about. I got one thing specifically I want to talk about that JJ Redick really hit on the head. I thought he nailed. But my biggest takeaway is obviously, as a Spurs fan, San Antonio just got Vic, the best prospect since Luka. No. Since Bron. No. Since Jordan. No. Since ever. Vic is the most potential built player the NBA's ever had come in. First of all, I didn't realize he was 7'5". He's the tallest player in the league. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if anybody's got that beat. He's 7'5", so he's the tallest player in the league. He's got a handle, a midi, not really a float game, but he doesn't need it. A fucking floater's like dropping it in the rim off a 6-inch vert for him. He can stroke that bitch. I mean, great passing. I don't even know I don't know what role they're going to have him play because they can do everything. But I don't think they're going to want to play through him in that first year just because of how raw and athletically behind he's going to be. Not to say he's not a great athlete, but I mean, he's got the BMI of a Sharpie, and it's not going to work out. Like, we've seen guys like Brandon Ingram who are really good, but they just have a cap because they just don't want to put on weight. But I'm super excited because unless we make a move, which I really don't see us doing, it's going to be Trey Jones, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Socon, Vic. And then off the bench, we're going to have Malachi Branham, Kisoko, is that his name? The guy we just drafted. We'll have both of them. And then it's just kind of up for grabs for minutes. I feel like we might sign a guy or maybe trade for another young one, but we got Vic. There's not much I can say from that other than huge fucking W. Glad we didn't fumble the bag and take literally anybody else because they wouldn't. Even if Vic turns out to not be the best player in this class, you can't take Vic anywhere but first. You know? Just for the shot of him, hey, what if he never gets injured? What if he works out? What if the shot's great? What if he passes better? You can't pass on that. And I'm really glad that it just was obvious that we got Vic. It was huge. Spurs were the biggest winner of the draft just for getting Vic. I mean, it was really top heavy. Obviously. Another team I had winning this draft, though, was Portland. So they got their guy Scoot. Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe are going to be one of the most, if not the single most explosive backcourt in the history of basketball. The way Steph and Clay can just shoot better than any duo that's ever been put together. These guys can jump higher, run faster, play harder, get on the floor, hustle more. This is going to be a phenomenal backcourt to watch. And I really hope it's the backcourt we watch because this pick means that zero Dame Dollar, he's gone. He's out of Portland. That's my takeaway from it. And I say all the time, I'm like, oh, my third team is the Blazers. It's really not. I'm just a big Dame fan. Blazers are cool to watch. It was terrible to watch Terry Stotts coach them for so long. It was a fucking stroke. But I just really like Dame. So I could live with whatever, Wherever he goes will be my third favorite team. Spurs! Boston, Dame. Just how it works. But I feel like Portland really got out good in this because you get Scoot, Shaedon Sharpe. You're going to trade Dame for what I'm assuming going to be a mid-tier big man and a good haul of picks. And when I say mid-tier, I mean we're not talking Kelly Olynyk or something like that. We're talking a good big man who's going to give you solid minutes, almost a Rob Williams type of dude maybe. Hopefully they get a wing because I like Yusuf Nurkic, but he's been there long enough just to where he's not going to get any real gap. He's not going to take another big leap. There's not going to be a huge progression for Yusuf again. But yeah, dude, I think getting Dame, what would their lineup would probably look like? Scoot at the one, Shaden at the, or no, Scoot at the one. What I'm afraid they would do is put Scoot at the one, Anthony Simons at the two, and Shaden Sharp at the three, which is not what they need to do. They're already a super guard heavy team. I think this move means they get rid of Dame and they get a really good wing backup guy, or a wing or a big, so that you can move Anthony Simons to the bench, or Scoot, or Shaden, whichever one just sort of lacks progression or just fits that role, you know? Like maybe you get one of those guys who thrives in a Manu Ginobili type role, which would be really cool. But I just think that they won in general. Getting Scoot, even though they're still really deep at guard, Dame's probably gone. They're going to fix a lot of their rotational pieces. You still got Jeremy Grant, who can run the 3 or the 4. I guess he could play him at small ball 5 if you just had to, but I wouldn't want to see that. The other big winner, and it's not really a big win, but I just think that it was a huge win for the draft, for the franchise. I think the Celtics taking Jordan Walsh at, what was it, like 42 or 47 or something? Late second round, huge fucking steal. 6'7", 6'8", round 220, long, athletic, hustle player. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you stress him out. He's already bald. He ain't going to lose shit, bro. He's a huge guy, and especially with, why am I blanking on the name? Joe Mazzulla. He doesn't like Grant Williams. He's been very open about that. He's not going to bring Grant back, which I think is a stupid move. But if you lose Grant Williams, you need another hustle guy, preferably another young hustle guy, because they just do it the best. And you got that in Jordan Walsh, who's taller than Grant, longer than Grant, faster than Grant. He's not as strong, but I mean, just that athleticism and being 18, 19 years old, he's going to want to get that PT. So I really think Jordan Walsh is going to do great things for the Celtics. Come right in and just fit. He's going to play well. Going on to the losers of the draft, though, I think the biggest L taken was, I don't want to say it was for the franchise, but it was actually for a player, and it's Ausar Thompson. I like the Twins. I think they're good. Ausar and Amon are going to be solid. But Ausar needs to be the last 2 picks for Detroit are last 2, main picks are Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. 2 ball-dominant point guards who need the ball to be good, because neither one of them are very good off the ball. That's the same exact thing with Ausar Thompson. He's not an elite, off-ball mover. He's not getting a lot of screens. He's not making the right reads like that. He's a decent outside shooter. Like, he needs to work on that for sure. So he's not going to be getting a lot of catch-and-shoot opportunities, because he's not going to knock those down. He's not going to get a lot of opportunities to be the main guy with the ball, because Cade and Jaden need those minutes more, because I just feel like they both have... Cade definitely has more potential. Ausar probably has more potential, but I just feel like it's going to be really hard to give all 3 of those guys minutes. You know, the whole, Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook, or Chris Paul and James Harden backcourt thing. I don't think it's going to work the way they want it to. I mean, I guess I could see a world where Ausar just becomes a really good shooter, but I just don't see that in the future of the Twins. I see them being like Aaron Gordon if he played point guard. Does that make sense? That's exactly how I've always seen them. I had one more. Oh, Charlotte. I definitely think the Hornets took an L on draft night. Nothing against Brandon Miller or whatever, but just an offensive-minded guy who, once again, really needs the ball in his hands, playing with LaMelo. I think they needed a center, and there wasn't a center on the board they needed because we got Vic. Fuck y'all. You can't have him. But I don't think this was the Hornets' year to get a guy. I think they should have traded down and just took Vic and Scoot are 2 phenomenal prospects. I think Brandon Miller's a really good prospect. And then outside of that, I think there's a lot of guys with potential, but it's a pretty top-heavy draft class, if you ask me. And it's way too early to say that for a fact. Like, there's guys like Grady Dick who have a good shot. I'm hoping Kisoko is better than I know, because I don't really know. I don't know shit about him. But it was the same thing with Malachi Branham whenever he came in the other year, and I was pretty pleased with his play. But outside of that, I don't have any huge problems. I do think Portland lost this draft if they keep Dame. You just have too many guards. There's no need. And they're not going to trade Scoot. If they do, it's stupid. But those are my biggest takeaways from draft night. no real Tar Heel action on draft night, unfortunately. Shout out Pete Nance. He got a 10-day somewhere, and Leaky Black got a 2-way contract with the Greensboro Swarm. So that was cool. Good to see, in case you can't tell. Shout out Kennedy Meeks. I've hooped with bro like 5-6 times now. Saw him a couple weeks ago. Saw on that poster. But yeah, those are my biggest takeaways from the draft. If I had to guess, I think the best players coming out of this draft are going to be in a specific order. Vic, and then nobody. Because Spurs Nation, baby! Go Spurs, go!